In order to achieve a similar standard of living and level of participation as others, persons with disabilities have to spend more money. It may be on everyday goods and services, but also on disability-specific items. In addition, they tend to earn less due to barriers in education and employment. And when their family members have to stop working to provide them with support, it decreases the income of their households. Those expenses and loss of income are called disability extra costs. They vary widely from person to person. They may depend on the barriers in the environment, the age, the support needs, as well as social and economic participation level of an individual. Let's start with children with disabilities and their families. We will talk about Maria. She is 6 years old and has an intellectual disability. And this is Iminati, who is the same age as Maria and has no disabilities. These are their families. Both families used to have the same income of $1,000 a month. But unfortunately, Maria's mother had to stop working in order to support her, and they now live only on her father's salary, which is $600. Both families have to pay the common monthly expenses like food, utilities, phone, rent, etc., which uses up most of their income. However, monthly expenses for Maria's family don't end there. They also have to pay for some habilitation sessions which Maria needs on a weekly basis, assistive devices, and adapted learning material, which is not provided by her school. To pay for all this, Maria's parents have to borrow a lot of money and struggle to pay back. The only public support they can get is to place Maria in an institution, which they are still trying to avoid. Iminati's parents are saving money for her private school fees. Now, let's look at working-age adults. Zeynep finished high school and got an accountancy diploma. She is deaf, and because of discrimination, she couldn't find a job in line with her qualifications. And here is Ha. She is the same age and has the same education as Zeynep, and she has no disabilities. She found a better job than Zeynep and has a higher income. Again, they both have common monthly expenses. However, Zeynep needs to spend more money on a mobile data plan as she uses a lot of video calls to communicate in sign language. She also has to spend a lot of money for sign language interpreters when she wants to see a doctor, use public service, attend meetings, or is in some other situation that requires demanding communication. But Zeynep is lucky in that she has a job. Many persons with disabilities are not given a chance to work. Take Andrei, for instance. He is 30 years old and blind. He lost his job in the last economic crisis and could not find another one. Employers tell him it would cost to recruit him, and there are cheaper candidates. Because he does not have any income, he is dependent on his family and what they can provide for him. Andrei needs a good smartphone with accessible features in order to be able to communicate and get information. To look for work, he has to travel by taxi because in his city, public space and transportation do not facilitate mobility for blind persons. In addition, as all the members of his family have to work, Andrei sometimes has to pay a personal assistant when using healthcare services or to seek work. This is a significant expense which he can rarely afford, but if one member of his family reduced work to help him, it would probably drive them to poverty. Finally, what are the implications for older persons? This is Youssef. He became a wheelchair user after an accident in his 40s. And this is Ivan, who just needs to use a cane when going on long walks. Both Youssef and Ivan are retired and receive a pension. But because Youssef could not find a well-paying job again after his accident, his pension is much lower. Their regular monthly expenditures are mostly the same: food, rent, phone, doctor visits. However, Youssef has to spend money for personal assistance to get out of the bed, get dressed, for domestic chores, and to get around. When he goes to the doctor, he has to take specific transportation because buses are not accessible. All his family members work, and they can help him only a few days a week, but they give him some money every month to support him. Also, from time to time, his wheelchair might need repair or replacement. To cover all those additional expenses, he will have to borrow money or sell his home and move in with his son's family. Ivan has more choice on how to use his money and can even afford to help pay the school fees of his grandchildren. We have seen that persons with disabilities and their families have to spend more and tend to earn less than those without disabilities. This makes them more vulnerable and undermines their participation. Well-designed social protection schemes can help address many of those costs and support inclusion of persons with disabilities. Sadly, few countries provide such support, and when they do, benefits are often too low and do not consider the diversity of disability costs. On top of that, schemes are often limited to the people who are considered in poverty, excluding many persons with disabilities who are not eligible but still cannot afford the basic support they need. Governments need to change that and provide cash transfers, community services, and other schemes that really support Maria, Zainab, Andrei, Yusef, and millions of others to go to school, find work, and have the same opportunities and choices as other people in their communities.